Hey guys, Vsauce, Michael here. Surely, you and I both very much enjoy seeing fun performance cars or some tastefully modified cars on the road or in a parking lot. While those are all well and good, there are some people who decide to do things to their car that really should not be done. Now this is entirely just my humble opinion, therefore anything I say you can take with a grain of salt or just not listen to it at all, which is usually pretty smart, but in this case, I think I might have a point that some of you will agree with. Therefore, let's start talking about some things that you probably shouldn't do to your poor vehicle, even if you think you should. Okay, number 5. We're gonna start this off with fake hood scoops, fake vents, yeah, and stuff like that. I was talking as if there was more stuff, but that's all I really had in mind. But anyway, I almost said faulty. That's not right. Phony air manipulation devices. Cars that have no performance pedigree should not have. Fake hood scoops, fake vents, well, fake anything really. These things just don't belong on there. Please take them off. It makes me quite depressed, and that says a lot coming from me. But cars really shouldn't have these on, because that is just, quite honestly, nothing less than extremely offensive to cars that actually use real hood scoops and real air vents. Let's consider an example. Basically, any turbocharged Subaru ever has a hood scoop, and the reason why is because that's literally where the air goes, into the intercooler. So yeah, that's it takes air and brings it into the engine through the hood scoop. It's really not that complicated. There's a lot of different cars that have hood scoops, hood vents, whatever you want to call them, for different reasons. Some cars don't even have superchargers or turbochargers on them, and they still have hood scoops, yet they're open to the engine to help cool the engine. Or perhaps they channel air through a different tube. In either case, it's actually being used, and it's not just a fake cutout or chicken wire under an unpainted black plastic piece of junk sitting on the hood. Young car enthusiasts, or those who happen to stumble upon this video and are considering becoming a car enthusiast, first of all, good idea for you, but not for your bank account. Second of all, if you see a vehicle with a fake hood scoop, there's only one thing you gotta do. Run. Get out of there. Yeah, that's the bad influence. You don't need that kind of snakery in your life. Stay away from those kinds of things as far as you possibly can. Fake hood scoops. Take them off. Please. For the love of everything, please take them off. They look terrible. Number 4. Cheap aftermarket wheels. Oh, just thinking of them, the horrendous sights that I've seen in regards to this cheap wheel problem, it's really bringing back things that I don't want to think about. Now I know what you're thinking. Are you an elitist? Are you just hating on people who can't afford a nice set of wheels? To that I would say, no, because that would mean I hate myself, and I already do enough of that, so I don't need another reason. However, there is a margin of difference between a cheap set of wheels and an affordable set of wheels. I, for example, could not afford 3-piece or forged wheels. I chose to go the middle route and get a set of some half-decent rotary forged wheels, which is a great middle ground for the overlords that are forged wheel owners and the peasants that are cast wheel owners. Nah, I'm just joking. There's no shame in owning cast wheels. Just in case you're wondering, the wheel of choice I have on my car is an Avant-Garde M621 19x8.5 in the front, 19x9.5 in the rear. The wheels that I'm talking about are the ones like this, or especially like this. These are what I like to call monstrosities of the production world. It's disgusting. You can find them potentially on any sort of vehicle, however, they are most likely seen on things like trucks, SUVs, lesser versions of better cars, and so on. Now the reason why people would upgrade to an aftermarket set of wheels can vary depending on the purpose of can vary depending on what your personal needs or wants are. The reason why I have a set of rotary forged wheels oh, that's a hiccup. That is not the reason. The reason why I personally have an upsized set of rotary forged wheels is because they're lighter, which means there's less turning force required to rotate the wheels, which means it can go marginally faster. Not really noticeably faster, but you're not going to notice a difference just because you switch wheels. The reason why I went up a size from 18-inch to 19-inch wheels is because it just looks better. That's, yeah. The wheels that I mentioned earlier that you unfortunately had to see, in reality, do the exact opposite of what an aftermarket set of wheels is originally meant to do. They're heavier, they're not manufactured very well, and they look like really bad. It's like having a yummy bowl of pasta set right in front of you, and then someone brings out their cat, leaves it on the table, and it pukes up a big old hairball right into the middle of your sketty and meatballs. I don't know what that has to do with cars, but I just said it, so there, it's out there now. I gotta work on my comparisons here. The third thing that you should absolutely never do to your car, on purpose that is, would be to put something like a gosh dang it. The furnace just started going off, that's great. I'm like 10 feet away from it. Can you shut up, furnace? Like, be quiet, please? Number 3, spoiler alert. Spoilers. Spoilers and wings, I suppose. Now, a lot of cars, and I do mean quite a few, have attached to the back, usually, a spoiler or wing, depending on its application. This, for example, is a spoiler. This is also a spoiler, and this is a wing. A wing and a spoiler serve a similar but different purpose, in the sense that they both manipulate air. In case you didn't notice, I am clearly not an engineer or an expert in aerodynamics, so I won't even try to explain it, or else I'll get roasted in the comments probably. A lot of it has to do with smoothing out airflow. Is that a word, smoothing? I'm just gonna pretend like that's a word. A lot of it has to do with smoothing out airflow or creating downforce to the back of the car. And both of those things are great if they're actually happening when you use a spoiler or a wing. Car's going forward, the air goes over, presses down the back, more grip in the rear. Easy. There are some car owners with questionable mindsets who decide to attempt to replicate this style or function, I suppose, and it just doesn't happen. It really just doesn't. There is no reason for a front-wheel drive car to have a massive rear wing for downforce. I should add as a quick note that Honda Civics do tend to be a target when it comes to these kinds of things. The Civic is not the only victim, that's just the one that gets the most attention, so don't go hating on Civics, it's the owners. It's really sad to see, because in itself, there's nothing wrong with the Honda Civic. However, you put a moron behind that wheel, and you got yourself a really bad combo. Like a hot dog sushi. Next up, fake badges. Oh, BMW M, Mercedes AMG, Audi RS, Subaru STI, Mitsubishi Evo, what else? Honda/Acura Type R. Fake badges are, well, that's just what they are, they're fake badges. If your car is not a BMW M3, don't put a BMW M3 badge on the back of it. I'm not by any means trying to single out BMW drivers, but you're usually the most guilty. I'm talking to you, person with dark blue, light blue, and red stripe in your grill. Get that off there, please. Nobody wants to see that. Imagine going to a concert. Thousands of people are there, someone famous is on stage, and let's say you try to go backstage when you don't have a backstage pass. What do you think's gonna happen? Yeah, you're gonna... Actually, I don't know what happens if you try that. What does happen? Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried that. Anyway, what'll probably end up happening anyway is you being apprehended by security and then probably being shown the door. If you're at a car show, on the road, or in fact just have a car that exists and you put a fake badge on it, you're gonna get kicked out of the concert that is life. Somebody will come to your door and show you the door. I'm starting to realize that I think the problem we have with these things is that people just like to be fake. That seems like what it's coming down to. And I don't mean to get on a high box or soap horse, but these people just are not fun to be around. A Honda Civic Type R is a Honda Civic Type R, but a Honda Civic Sport hatchback with $420.69 in modifications to try and make it look like a Type R is not a Type R. Look, I just don't want to be on the road or be walking in a parking lot and see an RS badge, for example, on a normal Ford Focus, and then get excited only to discover that it's just a normal Ford Focus with a fake RS badge. That, my friends, is false advertising, catfishing at its worst. As a PSA, please stop trying to catfish us car guys and trying to deceive the general public. That's just not cool. Next one, fart cans. Ah, yeah, we all hate fart cans. Yes, even people with loud cars hate fart cans. A loud car and a loud car that sounds nice are two very different things. For the uninitiated, is not a tubular device that is closed off on both sides that produces flatulence. That might be a thing, but that's not the type of fart can we're talking about today. The type of fart can we're talking about today is one like this. How long would you listen to that before you run to your mother screaming for help? For me, it would be probably somewhere around the 20-second mark, and I'd skip my mom. I'd just go straight to the hospital, get my ears checked. I'm sure they'd be bleeding by that point. This pandemic mostly affects the youth and their small, stereotypically 4-cylinder engines. Now, for some of you out there, a loud car is a loud car, and a loud car is annoying. I personally don't see it that way, as do millions of others across the world, but if you do, I hold nothing against you, other than a restraining order. Something like a Ford Mustang GT with a full catback Borla exhaust, that's great. I love that. In fact, I would love to hear one right now. Okay, that's not going to happen, but on the other hand, a Saturn Ion with a sawed-off muffler, well, it can sawed off, as the Brits would say. Because that is just obnoxious, annoying, has no tune, carries no melody, and yields absolutely no performance gains. So weld that muffler sucker back on there for the love of everything, please. My heart goes out to those cars who are mistreated in such a way. I'm sorry to hear about your suffering. Please make the right decision. Make the smart decision. And that goes for everything else that's been mentioned on this list. But that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to shut up now and go eat something because I'm hungry. Love and respect. That's all you need. On that note, I'm out of here. See you later. Bye!